Righteous Felon Craft Jerky is the official jerky of Belly Up Sports. For over a decade, Righteous Felon Craft Jerky has led the American meat snack revolution by concocting delicious, adventurous, U.S.-sourced jerky recipes for uncompromising carnivores across the country. With 15 different flavors to choose from, Righteous Felon has all jerky lovers covered, and by using promo code BELLYUP, you will get 15% off your purchase at righteousfelon.com. Do your taste buds a favor today and rip into a bag of Righteous Felon jerky.
Someone brought up the idea for the 2030 World Cup, which is supposed to be the anniversary of the first World Cup, which it's already weird. I don't like this, the way the 2030 World Cup at least is going to be. So the first opening matches will be played in Paraguay, Uruguay, and Argentina. So that's where, because that obviously the first World Cup was in, I think it was Uruguay. I don't remember, but I just know that was like the first World Cup. That was where it was. It was at least in South America, and so that's where they're having the opening matches there. But the host for the 2030 World Cup is Portugal, Spain, and Morocco. So this to me is so stupid. It should just, like, if you're gonna just honor the fact that the first, I think it was the Uruguay, just have it in Uruguay. Just have Argentina, have Paraguay. They're all next to each other, so I'm perfectly fine with that. And then the next year, then have Portugal, Spain, and Morocco. Even though I'm not really that thrilled about the Morocco part, Spain and Portugal makes sense. They're right next to each other. Morocco is kind of a little bit of a skip over there, but obviously this is like kind of the new way of how to like get the World Cup bid is by having these co-host bids. These, so that's where like the bizarre things is. I'm just saying, if I'm Morocco, I would step out of the Spain and Portugal one and just compete with Saudi Arabia, because 2034 is essentially going to be Saudi Arabia's, because there's no other confederation that could compete. Because once again, you already have technically, North America, CONCACAF has already been done, because obviously 2026. And then essentially 2030, your CONMEBOL is automatically out because of they're doing this part. UEFA covered because of obviously Spain and Portugal, and then CAF is out of it because of Morocco. So unless New Zealand can somehow get the host, it's going to be Saudi Arabia. Or I don't think it. Maybe they have already announced it, but so like if I was Morocco, I think I'd be like, you know what, Spain, Portugal, y'all do y'all's thing. I mean, obviously you can't go back now. There's no backing out now. You're already in it. But if I was Morocco, I would have been like, y'all do that thing. I'm gonna compete with Saudi Arabia, and I'm gonna try to see if I can get this bid for 2034 by myself. But who am I? Who am I? Who do you think I are? Who do you think you are? I am. It's also the anniversary of that guy, by the way, Pete Weber. But yeah. So for the 2030 World Cup, obviously it's already going to be monumental because it is going to be the anniversary of the first World Cup. And I mean, obviously I think technically all of them are the anniversary, but this is like a very significant one. And Ignacio Alonso, who is a representative from Uruguay, proposed the idea of expanding the World Cup to 64 teams. Now, it's already expanded to 48 teams for this 2026 World Cup, which is the newly expanded World Cup. And yeah, when Ignacio proposed this idea, basically everybody was like, yeah, that's going to be a no for me, dog. Infantino was just kind of rubbing his chin and was like, that's not that bad of an idea. Yes, it is a bad idea. Don't think about this. Do not make this longer than it needs to be. We're good with 48. 48 is a good number. You have enough you got enough representation. You don't need more representation than that. It is fine. You don't need 64 teams. 64 teams would just be overkill. Keep it at 48. Like, it is cool to have more representation. I'm all for it, but at the same time, like, you lose the exclusivity-ness of the World Cup, like the point of qualifying for the World Cup. Because, I mean, 64 teams, like at that point, basically all of South America can go in. All 10 South American countries can qualify for the World Cup. I mean, CONCACAF, that's... I mean, if El Salvador can't qualify for 2026, they can definitely get it for 2030. So, like, which I guess in that case, I would probably be all for it. But, yeah, like I said, 64 teams, overkill. Just 48 is fine. 48 is perfectly fine. That is a good number. Infantino, you don't have to do any more. You don't have to add any more. Ignacio, everybody was right to be stunned by your idea. Like, Infantino should not be even remotely thinking about it. Like, this is fine. We're good with 48. Don't need 64. Keep it at 48. It's fine. Don't add more countries to it. This is perfectly fine as it is. Even with the potential thrill of upsets, it's 48 is a good number. We're good with 48. We don't need to add more groups. So there, that's all I gotta say.
Who is that guy?